Hi, it's Ileana. So today I'm going to be discussing the importance of why we should be photographing UFOs, UAPs, tracking down UFO patterns, the tracking of UFO patterns, where UFOs fly over which skies, which areas. Why is it important to track UFOs? Some people have been abducted. Some people have had ET contact experiences. Some people have been taken into the secret space program service through the quantum leap time dilation or by the TR-3B or the TR-6 crafts series. So location, patterns, when it happens, dates, times. This is all correlation material. If you've taken video footage of the UFOs tracking you, following you, if you've taken photos where you can clearly see the objects that are in the sky, this is important because this is the material that you have to share your testimony, to share the pattern and sequence of the timeline events, when things happen to you and why, and what you can recall from these experiences. So, for example, in my life story, I've had TR-type crafts following me since 2016. And in 2016, I was in my mid-20s. In 2018-20, I was in my mid-30s. I wasn't really thinking about tracking UFOs. The only thing I could do was photograph the crafts and what they looked like and log the date and the time. So now this TR-3B, that's taking place beside my house in South Surrey near the woods. And this one, this is, I think was around 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. that this one was out. And I like to take walks at night after work. I would take walks at night, and I was not afraid to go out for a walk in the woods, about 20 minutes out from my house. And I would take my camera with me, my digital SLR camera, my Nikon camera, with 85 millimeter zoom lens, and that's what this was taken with. I think I was either standing by my house or out for a walk that night when that appeared. And it was following me, literally following me since 2016. And this image was taken on August 3rd, 2017, somewhere 11 p.m. between 1 a.m. midnight. So, and you can see the trees, the woods. It's in a quiet, small town, South Surrey, at night. Everybody's in their house. Well, I'm a bit nocturnal, and I like to take walks at night and see what's out there. Just taking a walk and that thing following me at night, tracking me. That would be normal for me. And this was summer, August 2017, August 3rd. So this took place between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. midnight. Yeah, that one is that time frame. And the second one, this is the same image, but it's using infragreen spectrum filter. And you can see a triangular object. You can see even more detail with the green filter on. And you can see the woods. You can see trees. This was near a forest. Like I said, about 20 minutes out from my house. On my way to take that walk or taking that walk. And I felt perfectly safe out at night walking around from 11 p.m. or near even 1 a.m. Nobody ever would approach me. Nobody would connect to me. Everybody's at home, sleeping or just watching TV. Sometimes some people, couples would take walks in the evening, or people with their dogs at 11 p.m., or people even running in the evening at night. It's interesting what people do at 11 p.m., but I can just go out with a camera and take as many pictures as I wanted. I always felt safe. I know people always say, don't go out alone at night into the woods. But I know the area where I was living. I know I'm perfectly safe and capable of taking care of myself. If I need to defend myself, I know my martial arts, my basics for self-defense. So I never felt that I wasn't safe. Always was safe. Always had the feeling of safety. And for me, going out at night was normal for walks. I don't do it now so much because I live in a bit of a different neighborhood where there's a lot of kids with families here, and there's a lot of people going out at night for walks here. People with their kids, families, people with their dogs. So I live on a busier street now than I did before. I'm now in White Rock, Ocean Park area, which is like 30 minutes away from South Surrey. I'm closer to the beach in British Columbia, Canada. But there's a lot more people out at night for walks here, surprisingly. So if I go out with a camera to shoot photos of the night sky, I might get people stopping me and asking me, what are you taking pictures of? What's so interesting in the sky? People are just curious and interested. This one is another TR6 craft hovering over the South Surrey house on July the 17th, 2017. I was out in my backyard, didn't have a camera with me. This just suddenly materialized. It's dark green, so it's kind of camouflaging with the night sky. And this was like 8 p.m. in the evening. Again, nice warm summer night out in the backyard. So I didn't have time to photograph this. I am a digital artist, so I can render images of what these craft look like, a basic render, and that's what it looked like. It did not have the red, yellow flashing lights like a TR3B does. This one is a TR6 and it was glowing green. So that was an experience I had with that craft. And there was somebody else who reported an incident on the same night or thereabouts. It was reported that they'd seen an orange, greenish, glowing craft not too far, like a few hours later, not too far from where I live. It was reported. So this or something else like it was seen by somebody else in Surrey area. That's why it's important to track these crafts, because you never know who else might have seen them in the evening and reported them. Because some people report actual sightings. And these are sightings that I've had. I've just never reported them on a UFO tracking website. I thought it was just normal to photograph them when I'm out at night taking a walk, which is maybe not so normal for some people, but that was normal for me because I enjoy taking a stroll out at midnight and seeing what's out there, seeing what's up. Normal people just report UFO sightings. Now people are taking pictures of them more so, and video. Since we have better cameras and video sensors, you can take better photos. They're not so grainy. Even the grainy ones are interesting. You can see the shape of it. This is with a cell phone in a rental house on 2018. I was just out in the backyard and in front of the house, And this is the infrared signature of the craft, TR6 craft, hovering over White Rock House, January 3rd, 2018. This is a rental. So I was back in White Rock. I had moved to Kelowna, British Columbia in August 17th, 2017. That place was strange. It's an interesting town, 7 hours away from Surrey, White Rock. And that place in the mountains, it's a desert lake, some trees. It was out in, like, totally in the mountains, Black Mountain. I saw a lot of UFOs out there, different types. I saw black helicopters, like helicopters, literally black helicopters hovering over the house near the mountain. I saw triangular crafts. I saw pyramid-shaped crafts, like a literal pyramid. A lot of triangular ones, the TR6s. I saw one with hovering lights, not an airplane, not a helicopter, no sound, does not make any sound, just hovers there and tracks you, or just watches. And you're watching it and it's watching you. So I have photos of those. I've cataloged everything. Every UFO sighting I have had that I know that's not a plane or a helicopter, I have photographed. And I suspect even one of the black helicopters I photographed too from Kelowna. So this one was January 3rd, 2018 in the rental house, and I was actually beamed out from the house. Saw the beam coming through the bathroom window when I went inside the house. I wasn't expecting to be beamed out, but this was like, it started at 10 p.m. and lasted until 3 a.m. Yeah. So this is the beam from the roof top through the upstairs bathroom, beaming me out. And then the same beam appeared and beamed me back in. So I knew I was taken to Mars and I had missing time. And this is the infrared spectrum scope in green IR of that beam in the roof line. That's January 3rd, 2018. And that really happened, and my cell phone somehow took a picture of it. I don't know. I had my cell phone with me in my pocket. I don't know why I had my cell phone. I guess I don't even remember how it happened. I took it out from my back pocket and I photographed the beam abducting me in a TR6. The flash came on and the picture was taken. And then years later, I put it through the infrared spectrum. You can see the heat signature of that beam. And it's not my cell phone. It's not a reflection of my cell phone. It's not a flash, because this was coming out of a bathroom window of the upstairs from the roof line, beaming in through the window. You can see the cloud cover. So my cell phone was facing away from me. I don't even remember how I took this picture. I think it was an accident, and they were bringing me back at 3 a.m. So that's that beam again. Put it through the different spectrums, cloud cover, everything, heat signature. It happened January 3rd, 2018. And this is when they returned me from the TR6, and it was just flashing itself away, going back wherever it came from, because it had sort of come out of warp drive and appeared in front of my house, hovered for hours, picked me up, took me to Mars, Planetary Corp, did whatever work I did there, returned me back home, 3 a.m. So this is it, flying away. And it did have a bit of a warp signature, as it was literally jumping into hyperspace, I think. So it had a color spectrum to it as it was changing velocities and trajectories and quickly zooming away from my house. That's the neighbor's house that we're seeing here. It's flashing away. There's trees. You can see the power lines. And again, this was when I was more aware that I had been returned. And again, I had my cell phone in my hands, so I took the picture of it. And I'm describing this in more detail because I've been asked to describe what my process is of tracking UFOs, why I track UFOs, why I track my own abduction experiences and activities when I was taken. I actually started collating this data together last year because I just had a hunch that this would be important throughout. So this is the infrared spectrum, and this has heat signature, orange, green heat signature. This is an actual object flying away from my house, from the rental, at 3 a.m. And again, why am I able to photograph UFOs? I was a photographer, a professional photographer, when I also worked at universities and libraries. I am able to know lighting, know how to hold a camera properly. I never set any speeds. I never set the flash for anything. I just have an instinct how to photograph something properly. Even if my camera settings are not set to anything specific, I've always known how to frame a picture properly as a photographer. That's the basic skill of taking a good picture. Properly, accidentally, I've taken many different photos. So I'm aware of what I'm trying to photograph at least. So this is actually in my old house in South Surrey. This happened on November 3rd, 2016 at 11:18 p.m. And you can see the power lines. You can see the TR craft. And this was near a road. Again, I was taking my walk out at night with my camera, and it was just hovering there, following me. And there's another one that happened July 10th, 2017 at 12:37 a.m. This is actually from also near the road. I'm out for a walk. It was a full moon, the night of the full moon, and a TR suddenly appeared. This one was more blue than the white one. On the left-hand side, sometimes I would see black ones, green ones, white ones, blue ones. This was blue, and it's not a star, it's not a helicopter, it's not an airplane. It did not make any noise. Both of them made no noise. They just warped in the sky and were hovering, quiet. I was taking pictures. And people ask me, why do you date these? Why do you have timestamps and times? It's because for me, this is important when these events happened, because I am tracking it now to see whether anybody else reported sightings on those dates or other dates close to that, and people have. There's a pattern. People have seen these crafts, triangles and saucers, in these same vicinities where I lived or went for my walks. So there's a pattern of saying, look, I didn't just make this up. I didn't fabricate these pictures. I truly took these pictures. And this is what it is. And people have reported similar sightings. I've never reported anything. I've just been talking about it in my own experiences and testimony, and I'll keep talking But I choose to document this in the form of pictures and timestamps when it happened. Sometimes I was abducted when these things were floating around me and taken to Mars, secret space program, 60 and back, SSP asset. That's part of my life experiences. So this is the close-up of the July 10th, 2017, 11:20 p.m. triangular craft, full moon, and I put the date stamps in the previous video when I was talking about the UFO sightings. Yeah, I accidentally had AM on there, but it's PM, and I fixed it. I went back to the information on my camera in the original, like in the pictures. These are original pictures, but blown up. And I looked at the timestamps and the date stamps. It's PM. Somebody mentioned to me that I had AM by accident, and yes, I did. Made a typo. It's PM, 11:20 p.m. Same for January 3rd, 2018, 10:21 p.m. when I saw it looked like it was a star at first when it blinked in, but then it started to take shape of a triangular craft. And sometimes what will appear is star formations, one or two stars moving. Stars don't move. These objects do as they come into normal space out of warp drive or hyperdrive. They will zoom in and look like hovering stars in the sky. Hovering stars are these types of crafts. They're not stars. Stars are stationary. Planets, if you're seeing glowing planets in the sky, when it's their orbital time, you can see sometimes even planets like Venus, Mercury, Mars, when their orbits are closer to the Earth, they're stationary. They're not moving around. They're not glowing blue or yellow or white while hovering and moving. That's the first clue that you're seeing a UFO likely, because it's moving around, it's quiet, it's hovering, it's triangular, it's circular, it could be square, it could be rectangular, it could be a pyramid. A few times I saw crafts that looked like toys, literally toys, glowing toys. They would change shape in the middle of the sky. They looked like Christmas toys on Christmas. My parents were out with me and they're like, what the heck is happening in the sky? There's glowing toys in the sky. I'm like, that's not toys. That's crafts shape-shifting and changing form. So that's happened to me before. So I fixed the PM, not AM, PM, I fixed that. I want to be accurate and detailed. Typos happen sometimes, and if somebody notices a typo, it can be fixed. These are original photos I have, so I can go back and if I accidentally put AM instead of PM, which was a typo, I will go back and fix it because this is about accuracy. It's about truthfulness and realism. If you're talking about UFO sightings, dates and times and timestamps, it does need to be accurate for what's being shown and why. These are UFO sightings, so it should be accurate. And that's the beam out again. That happened on January 3rd, 2018, 11:30 p.m. Yep, that's when it picked me up. The craft appeared, and you can see the roof line of the craft. You can see the ridge of the roof. So it's there, and it was hovering for a couple of hours since 10 p.m. Yeah, so these types of crafts, I took photos and I tracked it as best I could. And this is the interesting stuff, the reports that other people made in White Rock, Surrey area, British Columbia, Canada, in the areas where I've lived. here, I've lived here, White Rock, and Surrey. These are the areas that I've lived, and now I live in Ocean Park here. And I've taken pictures of UFO craft here as well. A couple of years ago, we had them hanging around. My mother had a UFO telepathic experience, actually. Very spiritual one. So they appeared to her and had a chat. The craft was called the Desolea. It was interesting. I did draw a digital image of what I was seeing of it. I wasn't really photographing it that much. I kind of did, but again, it's photographs when you can see it because with your eyes you can see it much more clear than on the photo when it's up high in the sky. So I would draw what I was seeing, what my mom was experiencing as well. So we've had UFO sightings in White Rock area, Surrey here, South Surrey, Ocean Park. South Surrey is here until here, this area. Then we have Morgan Creek. This is still South Surrey with White Rock area together. And there's been UFO sightings near the U.S. border because we're only like 20 minutes away from the U.S. border by car. So this is what we've had, quite a lot of UFO sightings included and reported since 2011 until 2018. Yeah, a lot of uptick in UFO sightings, and a lot of the times I was abducted during those times. So this is nothing that I could have made up or fabricated, because look at these sightings. Similar places, even the dates are similar. So I'm going to take a look at this one. This happened in 2018. And it was a triangular craft. Not surprising, White Rock area near Marine Drive. That's like only 5 minutes by car away from me, where I live now. So this is very close, 2018. Yeah. So this one was a saucer-shaped UFO sighting that happened in 2017. Again, White Rock area. Here it is. There's one near Semiahmoo as well. That's like 10 minutes car drive away from me. And you see quite a few of these ones. Somebody had on the roundabout, saw a triangular UFO on the roundabout to the highway. Interesting. This one was in 2016, saucer-shaped craft near Semiahmoo town center, where the malls are here. There's that two triangular ones. So, you know, it's White Rock, South Surrey area. Same places where I've seen these triangular crafts all the time following me from 2016 until 2019. It's interesting. This one happened in 2015. Triangular craft was spotted by someone, reported black triangle sightings. So there might be bases here, hidden underwater, underground bases, because there's some in Victoria, and that's 3 hours boat ride away by ferry from me. And I did remote view some bases underwater, under Victoria, a few years ago. So it seems that I live in a hotspot of areas where UFO sightings happen all the time. UFO abductions happen all the time by the SSP and gray aliens. Grays have abducted women near Kelowna and the Okanagan area. That's been also reported here. 7 hours away from me, where I actually lived for a few months and saw a lot more UFOs than in even South Surrey, White Rock area. This one happened in 2011, close to the border, White Rock, US border. So, and again, I've been tracking these sightings because for me it's important to know what's going on and why is this happening? Why are people being abducted, taken by Greys? Why are people being abducted into the SSP? Is it because of your abilities? Is it because who you are? Is it connected to your bloodlines? Your parents, if they were in the military or Secret Service or other special ops operations, black ops. Yeah, my dad served in the Russian army way back when it was still USSR. Everybody served in the Russian army. All the boys and the men did. It's mandatory still today. And in Ukraine, it's mandatory. So this UFO incident happened in 2011. So there's a pattern here. And now I've realized that there's websites where people have reported UFO sightings, what the craft looks like, the description of the craft, the dates, and the locations. Before, I would never track these for UFO sightings. I just took pictures because I was out at night just doing my stroll, and the craft were following me, sometimes abducting me, and I would take pictures. So people say I have no photo evidence at all for what I'm describing. Yes, I do have some photo evidence. Not of the Mars bases on the moon or Mars. There's moon bases. I've been on Mars bases. I don't have photos of those. I only have renderings, digital renderings of that I've made. Bases on Mars, bases on the moon, where I was taken, my descriptions of it, and the events that happened in my abduction experiences, and who I have had contact with, positive ETs, and their reptilian abductions when I was a kid between ages of 2 to 10. I've documented all my testimony, the abductions, the SSP stuff, the ET contacts, and I've done the UFO tracking to see, is there any hotspots of UFOs appearing where I have lived? And yes, there is. There's a pattern of this, a very consistent pattern. Now, I don't go out anymore at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. out taking a stroll because there's a lot of people actually walking around in this busier family neighborhood. I don't want to be seen as if I'm strolling out at night taking pictures. Although it's normal to take pictures of the sky, there's nothing wrong with that, but you kind of stand out when you're out with a camera taking pics at night during your walk. The dog walkers and the people out at night walking with their kids, especially in the summer, they will get curious and they will ask questions. Everyone in our neighborhoods knows each other. All the kids know each other, the families, the folks with the pets, and they're very friendly. They'll always say hi. Even if you're out at night for a walk during the day, everybody's super friendly. They'll say, hi, how are you? What you doing? Isn't it a beautiful night? So I don't quite want to explain why I'm out at night taking photos of UFOs, if there are any. I've actually not done that since 2020. I photographed a lot of things in the night sky. I know what it is now. I think I have an understanding of what my experiences are and what happened. And they're similar pictures. The crafts haven't changed in shape and form of what I've photographed previously and what's been reported in official report sightings. And so I actually went on this reporting site, UFOstalker.com. Now the name is cheesy. Yes, I will admit it's a cheesy name, but it's accurate reporting. And when you click on report a UFO, it tells you don't lie, don't falsify any evidence, report accurate sightings, because you could be contacted by somebody from the website and they might ask you questions about whether you've had a legitimate experience or not in this UFO reporting on this site. despite the cheesy name of the website URL itself, they take this seriously. They ask you not to falsify a UFO report. They ask you to be truthful. They ask for your address, your phone number, your email. Is this your current residence? Where did the sighting of the UFO UAP take place? And they say they might follow up with you and that there might be a UFO investigation. So you need to be truthful and honest about reporting UFO sightings. Or if you took any photos of it, you can add tags of the photo and upload the photo. And somebody actually said that in 2011, the craft landed and there was lights. So that's interesting. There was an actual landing of the craft. So it's interesting. They even report the time when the craft was seen, the date and the time and the place, and summaries with good descriptions of what these crafts look like. And you can press on that and read more. I just took general screenshots of this so people could see what the reporting looks like. And these are just the silver UFO crafts that I've seen a lot of. I see usually triangles, but I've seen saucer-shaped ones as well. It's the triangles that were abducting me, the TR craft. But I've seen saucers as well, especially in Kelowna. So I saw different shapes of crafts in Kelowna. It seems to be a mecca. I think there was a secret base somewhere there in the mountains, or maybe a few bases. But everywhere where I've lived in Canada has always been a hotspot for UFOs, different shaped UFOs, especially the triangles and the saucers. And there's reported evidence of this activity going on. Real people reporting this. Real people tracking this. So it's not something that comes out of the figment of a person's imagination. There's patterns in the dates I've taken photos of these UFOs and people have reported them. So it's congruent with my testimony. It took me 2 years to collate all of this together and to find a UFO tracker site that actually has some decent information about the sightings people have reported officially. And it's pretty good information for tracking UFOs. So if anybody has had experiences with abductions, extraterrestrial, alien abductions, ET contact experiences, SSP abductions, SSP beam outs by crafts, being teleported from Earth to another planet like Mars or the Moon by a TR-3B or TR-6 or higher version of these crafts, triangular or saucer-shaped ones, those have been reverse engineered by the military-industrial complex, deep state, the corporations, aerospace corporations. They've actually reverse engineered crafts that crashed on Earth, or they were visiting but something happened, through reverse engineering programs and crash retrievals of UFO crafts not from Earth, extraterrestrial technology, not of this world intelligences and their technology. Governments have done it. Private aerospace corporations have done it. Military has done it. So a lot of the UFOs that are seeing, the triangles and the saucers, what we're seeing in the sky is ours, man-made. A lot of it no longer has the nuts and bolts that it did before, because they've learned how to seamlessly reverse engineer these crafts. So you're not going to see seams or parts of them welded together. You're going to see whole crafts, man-made ones, where you would not know the difference between the man-made reverse engineered ones from the extraterrestrial ones. The extraterrestrial ones might have faster anti-gravity propulsion systems. Some of them even work on crystalline drives now, and power nacelles. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, General Dynamics, those aerospace companies have reverse engineered crafts. They have Airbus crafts, huge tic-tac crafts, and they have smaller drones that are remote piloted, and the bigger ones are piloted by humans. That's the Black Ops operations. Those are the SSP space programs from the corporations that have bases on the moon, bases on Mars, and military space stations in the middle of Moon-Mars orbits. These programs can replicate large crafts with replicator technology and lasers. They can map out, according to the schematics of a craft, and print you a craft. Literally replicate a large craft that does not have any nuts and bolts and seams, and it's not welded together. They have the replicator technology to replicate huge spaceships for space fleets. The CIA is involved in this. The reconnaissance office is involved in these programs. They know about it. Space Command and Space Force are now aware of this, and they want to be part of it. So there's a lot of change happening. Why we're getting disclosures that UFOs are real and that there's reverse engineering programs of UFO, UAP technologies. And they've renamed the crafts. First it was UFOs. They thought that was too cheesy. Then it was unidentified aerial phenomenon. Now it's unidentified anomalous phenomenon. UFOs, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, unidentified anomalous phenomenon. Honestly, you can call it whatever you want. It's reverse engineered crafts that are ours, or it's the extraterrestrial crafts that are visiting Earth with non-human pilots or humanoid-looking extraterrestrials. That's all real. It exists. It is part of our world these days. This is a new paradigm reality shift we're in, where much of this will continue to be disclosed. Because there's replicator technology that can replicate huge crafts, can replicate food, it can replicate tools, it can replicate building materials for building homes. This technology can also clean up the water, clean up the pollution on Earth, 0-point frequency technology, and free energy technology. That's just sitting in black vaults right now. CIA vaults, NSA, FBI. There's a lot of black vaults in Antarctica where all of this technology has been suppressed. Inventors have invented free energy, 0-point tech, generators, where it was taken away from them, put into these black vaults and locked up. Reverse engineering of UFO crafts by various black ops, military organizations, shadow governments, private aerospace corporations like what I've mentioned. This has been going on for 90 years. 90 years. Now it's starting to be disclosed in phases. That's why it's important for me to track UFO sightings, my own experiences, because this is factual information that's real. I've had this info since 2016. The photos I've taken, what I've tracked, where, when, and how. It's all documented, but it's starting to make more sense with what's being disclosed now and why. Because you can't, despite what people are saying, that the US government cannot hide any secrets, that the info is always leaked. Yes, the US government can hide secrets pretty well, because it's been doing it since the 1940s. They've gotten to be excellent at cover-ups. And a lot of people have been called conspiracy theorists with tinfoil hats, Well, it's not a conspiracy, it's not a tinfoil hat, it's a reality that was hidden from us in the secret embargo of extraterrestrial life and extraterrestrial crafts existing, being reverse engineered. Since 1930s, 1940s, 50s, and up, many countries have had some connection with UFOs. Either crashing, landing, making contact with governments, making deals with governments. Greys and the reptilians made deals with US government. 1954 Greada Treaty. And a bunch of humans were abducted, experimented on, cloned, put in hybridization programs, human extraterrestrial genetic hybridization, to create more hybrids, to clone people. The space programs, they built out bases on the moon and Mars in the 1950s through Project Horizon and other projects, with B-5 rockets delivering supplies to build moon and Mars bases. 1950s, 1980s. The infrastructures are there. The bases are there. The military space stations are there. It's all there. You do some research, all this stuff is on the internet. Anybody can learn about it. It's not so secret. And more will come out about it in disclosure. As the years go on, more and more will be disclosed. I just wanted to do some UFO tracking sharing of what I've experienced and discuss how this links up to disclosure. And more disclosure will come forward. Thank you so much, and namaste. And again, if you've had any types of experiences, just keep tracking, just keep taking photos. See if anybody else has reported UFOs in your area where you've lived or still live, where this keeps happening to you and others. Somebody will likely have reported it, and you can track what that is, where it's happening, or if there's any patterns to these crafts showing up and why. There'll be descriptions. Likely somebody has reported it. Dates, times, when it took place and why, and what it was. People will take more photos. People will take more videos. The cameras are much better, and the sensors. You can actually see better shapes, what these crafts look like, and you can even track the heat signature through infrared sensors or filters on your camera or through software. As the technology gets better, we can better track the sightings of UFOs through video, audio, and photos. It's happening now. We're in it. We're in this new paradigm of change and shifting.